whatever Kaido has really done to Wano Kuri, it's currently a wasteland of many different moments. And also, one thing you can always criticize about Luffy, although it's also his greatest moments, is his brutal honesty. The fact that he says this without a single mm, pained expression when he does that is a little bit insensitive. But then again, it also matches a bit with Luffy's character. He is always the guy who says things as honestly as it can be. Unfortunately, there won't be a One Piece next time, so we'll have to wait for a lot of things. Yes, the Angry Fan here to bring you chapter 912 of the One Piece. First off, a color page with detailing what different sports the Strides would have played. For some reason, though, Chopper is the boxer, Frankie is the basketball player, Robin is a horse rider, well, I think horse tricker. Usopp is strangely the only one who has something he matches. I think is that sharpshooter. Zoro has a baseball, and Sanji also has something that matches him: a swimmer. Brook is playing football. Navi is doing well tennis, and Luffy is a karate one. Either way, in this chapter, as soon as Luffy hears what who Tama was mating for, he immediately just says to her that he is dead, without a single expression on his face. Of course, that causes her to pass out in grief, which all we know that we're all too familiar with. And of course, the Tengu samurai can criticize Luffy for telling him, but while Luffy justifies it by saying, well, he is not going to return, so she had to know. But he does make a point by saying there's a time and a way to say it. We also find out the Tengu samurai's name. His name is Tenguyama Hitetsu, and also a pretty female Japanese doll collector and a bladesmith. So, well, either way, Hitetsu mentions that he is a blacksmith who has been waiting here for someone, but it's also this is the one and only place left of the Amigasa village, because 1 year ago, a new headliner from Kaido's pirate crew, D.S. Drake, destroyed the entire village and the 5 samurai that guarded them. That was actually something I didn't like to hear. I was really hoping X Drake would be ally this one, but if he is ruthless enough to destroy an entire village, including the samurais here, then there's no way he is gonna be an ally. It's a disappointment. So, Hitetsu mentions that the only prosperous left thing is the flower capital where Orochi. The rest have become a wasteland thanks to Kaido's tyranny and his factories. An unforgivable sin, so to speak. He also mentions that, however, the strange thing is, I'm beginning to wonder exactly how long have the Wano Kuri been under Kaido's tyranny? Because the strange thing is here, he mentions that 4 years ago, the village in this village was actually suffering a famine. And why I'm saying that's surprising is that 4 years ago, then that should have been the time when, the Kotetsu family still ruled. So how come this village was still starving to death? Either Kotetsu family, not the Kotetsu, Kosuki family was poor rulers, or the country was currently suffering from a lack of crops, therefore they were starving. Either way, a pirate ship was ashore with some familiar faces. The people stole their food, but as soon as they had eaten, one of the pirates freed themselves, and that was Ace, who stayed in this village for a couple of weeks and the villagers grew fond of them. In particular, Utama, who actually was 5 years old at that time, which also doesn't match. Wasn't she supposed to be 8 in one thing? That will make her 9 now. Either way, Luffy says that he's gonna take Utama to a doctor since she fed him earlier. Luffy may be insensitive, but he does keep his word. So Hitetsu dresses him in a kimono, although he would prefer the kabuki armor more, because in this regular outfit he would have, stand out, so to speak. But he says that there will be, there are people who help them for free in the place, would make sense. So Luffy takes a sword in order to be more believable, but Hitetsu says that he doesn't want him to take that sword, because that's the Kotetsu that was mentioned earlier. I said the wrong words to it all. It is also revealed that Hitetsu is a descendant of the blacksmith Kotetsu who made the cursed swords. The plot thickens. Because this one is the Nidai Kitetsu. As we see a brief treaty about the great swords and many different ones, from the 21 great swords to the 12 supreme great swords and the 50 skillful great swords. The Kotetsus are cursed swords that, if you touch them, will die. And Hitetsu cannot trade his sword because he's also world renowned. But Luffy, of course, just ignores that. Given to the fact, though, that Luffy is, well, as you know, a guy who was born lucky, I think the curse won't affect him. After all, Zoro is wielding the Sandaime Kitetsu, so the Nidai finally will end up in his hand. Either way, using the Komachi, they escort a place where Utama finally wakes up, but of course criticize Luffy for have talked to him about all this. As she still cries, we see a brief flashback on when they talked out when she talked to Ace and how she wanted to go out on the sea together with him, but Ace refused because he was only 5 years old, but he will return here once his pirate crew had become bigger. We actually see a glimpse of his pirate crew. The first time we saw them was during sorry, the Ace novel, so to speak. So he adds, and it's also revealed, indeed, there has been some implications that Utama, who's revealed to be, a sewer of these different hats, was the one who taught Ace how to wave them. And this scene seems to confirm that, yes, she did indeed teach him how to do that. And it's also revealed that maybe Utama was, no, Ace was a little bit literous than we thought he was, because he says pirates have to be strong. If you come an enchanting Kunoichi, by the time we come back, will take us with you. So, and one mentions that she really have to be enchanting, although he could just be teasing. So alas, that's a promise that could not be kept because Ace died. So, so of course she's very angry at that, and Luffy's casual remark to that did not help. Either way, they end up in the wasteland, which is thanks to Kaido's factories. Not sure what those factories are made for, but they could be everything from weapons to smileys to everything. Kaido has to be stopped. And we see wild animals that Luffy wants to eat. However, because they also eat the poisonous river, they're also poisonous to eat. So Luffy, of course, gets angry about that. Once again, Luffy's gonna take revenge on someone, not because of a benevolent reason, but because they're poisonous food and everything else. So these factories are apparently quarry and weapon factories. Either way, Tama's fever gets worse as they suddenly tries to run away. Suddenly Luffy hears a woman or someone, and they are being attacked by Kaido's pirate crew, but then suddenly someone destroys them all and takes their booze. And who is the one who does that? Well, none other than Zoro, who was just wanting to have some booze. They greet each other happily, and and Zoro gives him some meat as thanks to meeting him. It is also revealed that Zoro has been eating the animals and the fish on the poisonous river too. But the only problem is Zoro has not been sick. He has only been commentating. That's why my stomach's been hurting. Well, I guess that makes sense, because way back in the Fisherman Island arc, he did say he could digest needles and poison, so I guess it's true. He has an iron stomach. Either way, but then despair hits as Luffy runs into the other headliner, Basil Hawkins, who immediately recognizes Luffy, but apparently does not recognize Zoro. He calls him by his wanted name, Zoro Juro. It's not known if he recognized that. As then he suddenly says, that his subordinates disappeared. There's 98% chance that you will come, but it doesn't matter. In the Wano country, there is only two options. You can follow the strong or disobey them and live your hiding. We all know that's not true. There's a third option. Fight and eventually win. As Zoro and Luffy prepares to fight, they mentions that they will have to apologize to the team later. The question is though, can they defeat Basil Hawkins? Well, to tell you the truth, I will be very disappointed if they can't. I don't care if Basil Hawkins is a supernova who has limitless potential. He shouldn't be able to win against both Luffy and Zoro. Having said that though, I know for a fact that Basil Hawkins has this extremely broken devil fruit. And Luffy and Zoro do not know that yet. The devil fruit that apparently they are not gonna like. Devil fruit that allows them to redirect pain and turn into a scarecrow. Whatever, if that's a Parmesia or a mythical Soin, it doesn't know. Either way, an information chapter, not necessarily bad. Some moments there, a little bit more emotions of it all. The poor Tama cannot no longer see Ace. We see an ancestor to Kotetsu. The ending is the most frustrating thing, mostly because we were not going to get a chapter next week. The question is though now, can they win against Basil Hawkins? With his devil fruit, I highly doubt they can. And, they have old Tama to worry about as well. So, who knows? It's also disappointing to know that D.S. Drake will really be a villain this arc. I still haven't forgiven Oda for making Capone the sympathetic hero, and then he suddenly decides to make D.S. Drake the villain of it all. I mean, it makes sense for Basil Hawkins to do it. He clearly follows a might makes the right moments. So, please, yes, defeat him. But I highly doubt they will. After all, with his broken devil fruit, there's no way that they can win. But Luffy just fought a sweet commander. If he can't win against someone who's cowardly enough to just follow a Yonko, then I'll be upset. So give me your thoughts if you have any.